Who has more pressure in your eyes on them?
Honestly, probably Canelo, because although Gennady might feel like this is maybe the last roll of the dice, certainly to become undisputed, for Canelo Alvarez, back-to-back defeats would be crippling for his career. You know, this is a pound-for-pound great fighter, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter who's slipped off that ranking through a defeat to someone outside of his weight division, wants to come back and make a statement. Mexican Independence Weekend, a huge crowd at the T-Mobile, the whole world watching. And this is just one of the great rivalries of boxing. You know, I've been a Gennady Golovkin fan for many, many years. We've had him fight some of our guys before. And of course, Canelo Alvarez, who is one of the all-time great fighters. And I just feel like neither guy are going to take a step backwards on Saturday. I think you're going to see the best of the three fights so far.
You get to sit between fighters all the time up on stages like that at venues and events like this. What was the energy like sitting between Canelo and Gennady?
Honestly, like they don't really want to be there anymore. You know, like they've done so much media for this fight. We've had so many head-to-heads. Saul doesn't really enjoy the meet. I mean, you see the pictures there. Look, this is a mixture, and I mean that's just the media. You know, that's not fans down there. That's the media, the world media, looking to get their piece of, you know, the biggest star in boxing, and it comes with a lot of pressure. It comes with a lot of draining activity around fight week, and really at this point, you know, the training team, Eddie Reynoso, and you know the physios and the strength coaches will be saying enough. You know, sooner or later they're going to pull him out and say, we need to go back to the room, you need to have a rest, you've got to train later, etc. Because the weigh-in's tomorrow. You know, both guys should make the championship limit comfortably, but it's really nearly time to switch on. You know, all of this is great, amazing turnout tonight. Wait till you see the weigh-in tomorrow. But this is it, you know, and you build up a fight, and then all of a sudden you realise, wow, we're 2 days away. We're 2 days away from the trilogy. And there's the energy in the T-Mobile Arena on Saturday is going to be something we'll never forget. And honestly, it's going to be, I mean, the undercard as well is incredible. It's an incredible night of boxing, the night of the year so far. And every sport needs a great rivalry. This is probably the greatest rivalry of our generation in boxing.
I think it's important to highlight how both fighters are able to compartmentalize these emotions right now, what we're talking about right ahead of the weigh-in, the obligations that they have to meet. They're doing it in a terrific sense, terrific ability there. But yeah, we're going to do it again tomorrow outside the T-Mobile Arena for the official weigh-in. Eddie, thanks so much for joining us here. We'll see you tomorrow at the official weigh-in starting up at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern here on Matchroom Boxing. Until then, for our entire Matchroom crew, I'm Justin Shackle. We'll talk to you Friday afternoon, everybody.
Your winner.
Okay, yeah, we're going to be here tomorrow for that weigh-in. So to go back to what you guys were saying, I understand as I'm reading the chat, thanks for the super chat, Steven. He can pull a Bevo so they can't rob him this time. But I do feel that Canelo can beat Golovkin via body shots, you know, and that's going to be the keys to victory to him is to go to the body, because we've seen that Golovkin, you know, now that he's older, he may be a little bit more vulnerable there. But also, Golovkin, this is at a higher weight. This is at a higher weight. It's at 168, not 160. So how will that positively affect Golovkin and maybe negatively affect Canelo? You see what I'm saying? You know, more weight to be able to absorb those punches. But Golovkin is not necessarily a guy who's fast. So and Canelo is considered or looked at as one of the faster guys at 168 pounds. So, you know, I think that Golovkin has a lot more of a chance than what people are giving him because we're just relying on the age. He's still a strong fighter and still should be the bigger fighter in there. And what kind of fight is Canelo going to fight? Is he going to try to play keep away like he did the first fight? Or is he going to try to take it to Golovkin, you know, like he did in the second fight? And remember, you are allowed to have your opinion. We're not always going to agree. You know, I had Canelo losing or a draw being the first fight, and then the second fight I had it for Canelo, you know. But either way, both of those fights were highly contested, and if you had two lines, you know, they were mixed, you know. So Canelo, you know, either of these fighters, let's say either of these fighters, they didn't fully dominate both of those fights. And because of their age, Canelo is expected to put on a better performance because the first fight, the second fight showed progression, and then the third fight. But Canelo, at the end of the day, is coming off of the defeat of a defeat. And Golovkin has not ever clearly lost. He hasn't had a clear defeat in his career. I don't think he took Derevianchenko seriously. He just got that new DAZN money. And, I don't think he took him seriously. But either way, y'all don't have to agree, because guess what? We're going to be here on Saturday night, streaming during the main event. And I got my trusty scorecard book here. So I'm not going to be cussing you out and making up all kind of excuses for if Golovkin don't win. If Golovkin get knocked the fuck out, then hey, get knocked the fuck out. More fucking views for me, right? So I don't have no allegiances with these boxers, but I just feel that Canelo's keys is Golovkin's age and going to the body. But what if it doesn't work? What if the body shots don't do anything to slow down Golovkin because of the extra weight? And then what about the age? I'm going with Golovkin, man, by decision. I don't see Golovkin stopping Canelo, but I'm going with Golovkin. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't feel confident. But I got the feeling in my gut. I feel it in my loins. It's like, yo, Golovkin can pull this shit off. We did a poll here in the chat up at the top. 139 people voted. 38% says Golovkin by KO. 24% two times for Canelo by KO and Canelo by decision. Only 14% have Golovkin by decision. And I don't think that Golovkin is going to get a decision in Las Vegas, though. That's going to be rough. Here, let me go see who the judges are. GGG 3 judges. Let's go see if they announced the judges. Yes, they have. Have they announced the judges yet? I could have sworn the judges, news on the judges came out yesterday. Here we are. All right. We got a little article here from the Boxing Insider. So let's see what they have listed here. A look at the judges for Canelo Golovkin 3. Steve Weisfeld of New Jersey has been judging fights for over 30 years. The man has judged over 2,200 bouts, more than a few major players in the fight game. The lowdown, Weisfeld is one of the judges for the second Canelo Golovkin fight. He ruled in favor 115-113. So Steve Weisfeld for the second Canelo Golovkin fight had a 115-113. With that in mind, he also was a judge for Canelo versus Bivol. Canelo lost to Bivol. Steve Weisfeld ruled it for Bivol. Vegas native Dave Moretti has been judging fights since, wait for it, 1977. In fact, man has judged a whopping 1,300 bouts throughout his long career as a ring official. Since the later part of 2017, the man hasn't ruled controversially in any major fights, unless you count his ruling in the first two Canelo Golovkin fights as being controversial. He ruled for Golovkin the first time and for Canelo in the rematch. That's how I had it. Moretti also ruled in favor of Bivol when Bivol beat Canelo. Lastly, Oklahoma's David Sutherland will be scoring Canelo Golovkin throwdown on Saturday as well. A bit less well known than Weisfeld and Moretti. Sutherland nonetheless has 750 bouts, 50 fights under his belt since becoming a judge in 2002. He's never judged a fight of this magnitude, but has ruled non-controversially in bouts involving such names as Inoue, it says Natoya Inoue, Jamel Herring, Jamel Charlo, and Shakur Stevenson. Interesting. So, the third judge is David Sutherland. So it's Steve Weisfeld, Dave Moretti, and David Sutherland. No, the bird call, Adelaide Bird, is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, Bird has been doing a lot of MMA lately. Probably because she didn't want the abuse from fucking boxing fans. Y'all let her have it. Her and Madam CJ Ross. Let them have it. Chase them out the sport. And remember, Tony Weeks, he got pretty much demoted because of the Mayweather shit, But yeah, I think Golovkin can do it. I think he can do it. But if Canelo wins, I think it's going to be by KO. But one thing about Canelo is he does seem to slow down later on in fights. You know? Canelo, I'm interested to see how he's going to move around. And remember, this is a whole 8 pounds. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's moving up a whole division. But people were wanting him to move up, and it was talking of him moving up 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So I don't know, man. You know, people are looking at I think Golovkin is overall the naturally bigger man, but people are really looking at the age and, you know, possibly Canelo's body work. You know, we're going to have to see, though. We're going to be here tomorrow for the weigh-in. Let me check and see what time the weigh-in is. I believe it's at, they did say at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then we're going to be streaming during the main event. Other content I'm going to be putting out is I'm actually going to go paint my kitchen. I'm finishing painting my kitchen. And then I'm going to watch or listen to in the background the face-off between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. And then this weekend, we're dedicating to boxing. What's next weekend? Next weekend is next weekend some big fights too. You have Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker. They also had a face-off I got to watch. They're fighting next week. That's going to be on ESPN Plus, I believe. And then you have Shakur Stevenson taking on Robson Consacao. So next week is some nice, solid fights. Let me go check real quick to see if I'm missing anything for next week. See if I'm missing anything. Okay, here's the ESPN card. Shakur Stevenson, Robson Consacao, Keyshawn Davis, Omar Tienda. Okay. That's going to be on Friday, actually, the 23rd. On Saturday, the 24th, Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker, Amanda Serrano versus Sarah Mahfoud. I guess that's how you pronounce her name. Then you have that card over on the Zone, Maxie Hughes versus Kid Galahad, which was supposed to be Lee Wood versus Mauricio Lara as the main event, but now Maxie Hughes, Kid Galahad is the main event. I am looking forward to Hannah Rankin versus Terry Harper. Terry Harper now competing at 154, jumping up fucking, what is that, 3 divisions, 4 divisions? Like, Jesus. She's fighting at 130. And now she's at 154. Wait, 130, 135, 140, 147. 5 divisions she's jumped up. And you see, oh, and also Floyd Mayweather returns in a degenerate fight. It's going to be early in the morning on Saturday morning. Floyd Mayweather taking on Makiro Sakura in Rising, a 3-round exhibition. You know, smart investments. Smart investments. Hell no, ain't no Teddy Atlas commentating. He don't do commentary no more. So, all right, nice, solid, you know. Chris Cyborg's fighting too. She's got a boxing fight coming up. So it's a nice, solid weekend next weekend for boxing. So make sure you check out the Fight View 360 Boxing Podcast and the WBC app powered by the Vive Network. The links are down below in the description box. I'm going to get up out of here, and we will be seeing you guys tomorrow for the Canelo versus Golovkin weigh-in. And we'll be talking. I'm going to do also a Spence versus Crawford video too. We talked about it earlier in this stream. We've been live for now an hour and 53 minutes. So we did cover in this stream. At the very beginning is the undercard press conference. Then there was a 45-minute break between the main event. But in that middle part, we talked about all other boxing that's been going on. So I'll see you guys later. Remember, we're going to be here tomorrow for the weigh-in at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be streaming during the main event of Canelo versus Golovkin. With brief legal fair use highlights in between rounds. And then after that stream, we're going to be streaming for the post-fight press conference, which is going to be interesting because if Golovkin loses, I wonder if he's going to retire. This is his last fight on his DAZN contract. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Please subscribe.